First tonight, Jerry Monkman got his first camera when he was 13 years old, and it changed his life, although not right away. He liked photography, but he didn't love it.
That was more than 30 years ago, and now Jerry Monkman is an acclaimed nature and adventure photographer based in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Much of his work is for groups dedicated to conserving land. Those assignments and countless others for other clients and for himself have taken him to virtually every part of New England, always with camera in hand.
When did you really get serious? When did it really grab hold of you?
After college, and I decided I didn't like really working a real job.
I read that you went to an event where the great photographer Galen Rowell appeared, and it sort of put into your head, hey, real people take these photos. Maybe I could be the guy taking some of these photos.
Yeah, he was one of the premier sort of nature and adventure photographers of the 20th century and a great mountaineer. And I read all his stuff in Outdoor Photographer magazine. And he came to a store I was working at, signing books and posters. And I thought, wow, this is this guy's job. It's way better than working in the mall and going to the food court every day. So that's kind of when I talked to my wife, Marcy, and we decided to invest in new equipment and start exploring that world.
Jerry Monkman has lived and worked in New England for 30 years. What appeals to him as a photographer is the rich sense of history here and a wide diversity of landscapes in a relatively compact area.
So if you were to go out shooting tomorrow, what would be your approach? What time do you get up? Where do you go? How does it work?
So part of it depends on the weather forecast. So if it's going to be a sunny day, it probably means I'm up before dawn and getting to a location about half an hour before the sun rises. I want to get those beautiful sunrise colors, but I'm also going to want to have something interesting in the landscape that's going to be lit by that early morning beautiful golden light.
You're based in New Hampshire, but you love Acadia National Park. It's really one of your favorite places to shoot, isn't it?
It is. We've written 3 books and named our daughter Acadia, so I guess we like it there a lot.
Acadia is one of the most photographed places on the East Coast. How do you approach it with a fresh eye? How do you capture images that other people haven't gotten?
I don't know. It's becoming more and more of a challenge. But for me, it's usually getting out into the landscape, whether it's hiking or paddling or even biking in Acadia, and just sort of experiencing the place until I come upon an idea or a scene that I haven't noticed before, and waiting or returning when the light is perfect to take that photo.
When asked about favorite places to shoot, Jerry Monkman says he loves them all. Mountains and lakes, fields and rivers and forests. So where he shoots depends largely on when he shoots.
Early summer, I love to shoot the Maine coast or even the New Hampshire coast, what little bit we have here, because inland in the mountains and the woods, there's just way too many bugs for me to deal with. So summertime, I love being in the mountains and getting high and above tree line, either up in Baxter State Park or here in the Whites. And in the winter, it's wherever the snow is, pretty much. Is that close enough to having favorites?
I think that what you said is, I like it all, and that's a great answer.
I do love it all.
When you're out on assignment, how many photos do you tend to take in a day?
Traditional landscape photography, it might be a couple hundred. If I'm doing a really intense sort of adventure shoot or outdoor recreation shoot, especially with these new cameras, I get lazy and hold that shutter down, and it's taking 10 frames a second. I could shoot 6,000 or 7,000 photos in a day.
How often do you know when you've really captured something special?
A lot of things need to combine, whether it's, it's usually weather and clouds and the people or the landscape, wildlife, whatever, and it's really hard sometimes to plan those things to all come together. If that happens a dozen times a year, I'm pretty psyched.
Forgotten and ignored by many is a river that seems familiar, yet is often overlooked, waiting to be rediscovered.
In recent years, you've started doing a lot of video. How do you like shooting video compared to photography?
I love it. I'm 53 years old now, and I've taken I don't know how many thousands or millions of photos in my life, and I'm never bored taking photography, but I always know what I'm doing. With video, I'm not. I don't always know what I'm doing right now, but that's great because it's it's a fun sort of exploration, and I feel challenged, and I've really enjoyed being able to put a voice and a sound and movement to some of the same sorts of stories I've been covering with photography for the last 25 years.
Monkman's been shooting professionally in New England for 3 decades, which leads to the question, what does he still want to do?
5 years ago, I fought a cancer battle and survived, and I'm happy about it and doing well and back to normal, and I'm healthy. And I think before then I had a lot of the sort of, I need to travel the world and do this and do that, and you know, I love traveling, but since then I feel much more content kind of not having to see the world, to be honest with you, and being around my family, being close to home, being in the places I love and helping to protect the places that are close to me and part of my life every day.
Beautiful work. Now here's the thing. Jerry Monkman has never had any instruction in photography, 0.
Wow, which puts people like us who have to shame.
All our excuses whoosh, just got blown away.
Also, for the record, while that story was running, I'm on his website. Like, how do I buy a print from him? Because they are beautiful, and Acadia is also one of my favorites.
Jerry mentioned that he and his wife named their daughter Acadia because they love the place so much. Your story is?
I named my cat Acadia because I love it so much. So Jerry and I are kind of connected, except he's a way better photographer.
In addition to his photographs, Jerry Monkman has published several books and is getting close to finishing up that documentary film on the Merrimack River.
You can find out more about Jerry and his work by going to the 207 section of newscentermaine.com or head to our mobile app.